Shifting focus now, the G20 Youth Entrepreneurs Alliance Global Business Networking Evening, powered by Business Day, is currently underway, bringing together entrepreneurs, leaders and change makers from across the globe. This event sets the tone for the G20 YEA Summit. The crossover now to Ndaleng, who joins us from the sidelines of the event.
Thanks, Zinati. Well, I'm at the rooftop right above our studios where change makers and innovators are gathered here for the G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance. And joining me with further insight on why we're actually here is the president of the Young Entrepreneurs Alliance for South Africa, Innocentia Motau. Innocentia, thanks so much for your time today. And let's start there. Why are we here? Why is this event significant, of course, in the lead up of a very busy week for the Alliance?
Very important week for us. It was a 15-year journey. It's culminated to this week today. And we are expecting 600 young entrepreneurs together in South Africa, 400 being all the delegates from states that belong to the G20 bloc, and about 150 young entrepreneurs from our own country, from South Africa, to come and mingle with the world, to come and conversate with the world, to come and enjoy. The spotlight is on us. They must come actually demonstrate what South Africa is capable of in terms of businesses, and also our young entrepreneurs in South Africa be exposed to better markets. It's about access to markets. So tonight it's a B2B, it's a business to business global networking session where we're bringing all our delegates who have arrived already, because it's a whole week of activities and festivities, and connect with our local ones who would generally not even make it to the conference because it's a paying conference, but to connect and especially start thinking about being export ready, start thinking about international markets, and start thinking how South Africa can benefit from the international markets in harnessing businesses locally. That's about today. We're here to connect, network, celebrate, tease the week. It's a teaser today, so we need to be very deliberate in actually celebrating this week, because the presidents are meeting in 2 weeks. And before they meet, we need to deliberate on our issues, on our highlights. We need to celebrate ourselves as young entrepreneurs. I'm not young anymore, youth and Dala, but we support and advocate for them, so we create this kind of platforms for them. And we felt like media is quite critical for conversating, exchanging the thoughts and getting the thought leaders into the entrepreneurship forte. So that's why Arena Media has already offered us the space to come and conversate and actually see how we can enhance our narrative through the media via the G20 platform created for us.
And you touched on some important issues there, issues around access to market, access to capital. And the last time we spoke, these were some of the challenges that you were looking to address, right, when it comes to our local entrepreneurs. Let's talk about that in terms of what this kind of platform then provides here today and at the summit towards the end of the week.
So we have a few pre-summit events building up to Friday. 3 of the topics on those very day is about access to finance, and not just access to finance to entrepreneurs. Women tend to be also marginalized when it comes to finance instruments available for them to do business. So we're going to dwell deeper into markets, we're going to dwell deeper into those that are investing in young entrepreneurs. We're going to dwell deeper into financial solutions that women actually carry out there in terms of fintech. There's going to be an e-commerce conversation. Banks are joining us also to bring products that are available for young entrepreneurs. It's always difficult for young people, especially startups, to get money because we need a collateral. They don't trust your business. So it's a two-way traffic. We always tell entrepreneurs, prove your idea. Tell us what is it all about. Is it bankable? Is it scalable? And if that's the case, money comes easy. But if it's not, but the idea, it's ideated well, that you can see a business model coming out of it, where do they start to go to? So we're coming this week having, organizations that will actually matchmake entrepreneurial ideas with money, and also build them and make them ready for them to take up that money. So that's a very key conversation. We need money for our businesses to thrive, but we also need to do our part as entrepreneurs to make sure we ideate well.
So we need the money, but our businesses have to be ready. The last time we also spoke, Innocentia, you touched on many businesses not necessarily knowing about this network, this alliance. What have you done since, right? We spoke in May, we're now in September. Talk to me about that.
So it's been great. It's been exciting. We've been recruiting a lot of enterprise supply development beneficiaries from corporates who are doing incredible things on the value chains and supply chains of these corporates. But we had to induct them as to what they need to look out for when they come to the conference, because it's one thing to attend, but it's another thing to come and not know what you're looking for. A business card is not sufficient. You need to go read up about the G20. You need to go read up about the entrepreneur caliber that's attending the summit, which they did. We needed to teach them as to how to maximize a conversation like an elevator speech while at the summit, and there's no procrastination, there's no time wasting. So we had those masterclass sessions with entrepreneurs from Tungela Resources, IDC, entrepreneurs that they've nominated. There's a lot of Dakis in tech that were nominated to attend the summit, and we needed to get them ready to know what this is all about and how they can leverage what they know, and how they can exchange also their local product into an export market. So we've managed that very well. It's quite exciting. They're all looking forward to be coming here tonight and to be starting the conference on Friday. So.
All right, and then lastly, before I let you go, let's speak about government support. You know, this always comes up, right? You talk about the alliance being able to help entrepreneurs and get them ready to access markets, right? But we still are in a very uncertain economic environment where government does have to pitch in. I mean, we can talk about those US tariffs because that's also an important market. Talk to me about how you've been collaborating with government as well.
So on the G20 space, in its own very nature, geopolitics counts, right? Number one, I've just opened a store in New York a week before the tariff regime kicked in. Didn't affect me, but one needs to look into that differently. Our governments have been, very deliberate in wanting to make sure that conversations happen where we're not detrimental to each other's economies within the bloc itself. YESA's foundational base is actually the ecosystem, entrepreneurial ecosystem, where corporates, entrepreneurs, and government build an ecosystem that lets everybody align. So tonight we're having the HOD of the Economic Development Department from Gauteng who will come and speak as a policy custodian. How are they supporting young entrepreneurs? We can't do anything without government, and that's why the G20 will deliberate about entrepreneurship, because recessions came and left and we're still not recession proof. Yeah. However, entrepreneurship was the answer. It got to be nurtured in that fashion, and that's where government comes in. And I think they're pretty present. They're pretty blessing the week. I've gotten calls from the Department of Foreign Affairs, DIRCO. I've gotten calls from the presidency. They want to know what's going to be the outcome and where they must come in as champions of policy and change our lives and make us thrive as young people, as young business people, and make the geopolitics cushion better for young entrepreneurs to operate globally.
Very important for young entrepreneurs, of course, to contribute to the economy. I mean, you look at where unemployment rates are, youth unemployment in particular. So we need them to, build their businesses and I guess generate jobs as they scale. Innocentia, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for your time and gracing us with your presence this evening. Now that was Innocentia Motau, the president of the Young Entrepreneurs Alliance.